If you want to be a photographer, if you want to be a journalist, you want to be a writer, you want to be a musician, do it. But just make sure that if you're really going to do it, you want to put some time and heart into it. Really do it. Like go for it. That's a gift when people have that. They're just driven to make art, and that's all they do, and they might not make a living from it. I know if I just wanted to only write lyrics and perform in an aggressive band, I couldn't make a living from it. I couldn't. I work many jobs. All of them may be like entrepreneurial jobs. They're all self-made jobs in the sense that I started Death Wish 10 years ago. Basically to have a home for our band, and it's now turned into something that we've released 140 or 50 records now, and it's built a catalog that has been able to sustain itself and grow. But that also took me working 50, 60 hours a week for 7 years with no pay at all. Like, people don't understand sacrifice. People talk about, touring's hard. Yeah, it's kind of hard. You're living out of a bag. You don't want to sleep in the most comfortable places. You're dirty half the time. But it is what it is, and it's a great opportunity. And that people will say that they've worked really hard and they've done some tours. That's great. I've been in a band for 20 years and I'm still playing venues that, are probably considered small venues to people, but I don't care, because that's not how I value this. I value this for the experience of just getting up there and playing, and the fact that it's self-sustaining. It's only that because we've worked really hard and we've played long enough where people respect that and they come out and they support our band. And that's what hard work is. I think that a lot of people don't understand the concept of hard work. They'll work really hard for a few months and they'll put a lot of heart and energy into something, but it's not true sacrifice. It's not giving their whole life. I was watching this documentary at home before I left about this illustrator from Japan he actually was born in the States, but he ended up living on the streets of New York City for most of his life. He was in an internment camp in World War II in Arizona, I believe, and then he ended up moving to the city of New York and lived on the streets, and he's been making art in the subways since then. That's all he does, and he sells mainly paintings of cats and drawings of cats that he makes, and they're all beautiful and they're all really unique, and sometimes he'll do these landscapes telling his life story, what he's gone through. That's sacrifice, because he knew that he didn't want to be anything else. He didn't want to be he didn't want to have a normal 9-to-5 job. He wanted to be an artist, whether that made him financially well off or it made him live in the street. That's just what he wanted to do, and that brought him purpose, and that gave him a sense of being in life. And that's a valid thing if somebody's comfortable with that. We all have our limits, but I think it's just really important for people to understand what real hard work is, and it's always different for everybody. And there's some people that'll write one song that could be emotionally fulfilling, and they become billionaires and never have to lift a finger again. If that's what they want, hats off to them. It's not what makes it interesting to me. So I think it's just important to be realistic and self-aware. Always self-aware of what you want to do. I just enjoy making music that's emotionally fulfilling for me, where I can put my contributions into a song and just get something positive out of it from me. As far as Death Wish is concerned, I just want to promote artists that I believe in. That's pretty much it. If I hear a band that I like and I want to support, I do what I can to make them heard by as many people as possible. Like Birds in Row, who are playing today, is a great example of that. It's not for everybody, but hopefully it'll appeal to the right people that'll enjoy it. It's never been about selling a lot of records. It's never been about trying to make something commercially successful. We just want things to be self-sustaining, hopefully pay for themselves and, push the artist to a next chapter in what they want to do. So from what we've contributed through Death Wish, I feel fairly proud of. I'm really proud of the artists that we've worked with. And, I'm just happy to do that. I'm a big fan of streaming music, of being able to give away as much content for free as possible. But the issue is that there's still the basic economics that it costs money to produce records and record these things and to have servers and to ship t-shirts places and to produce whatever is needed to promote a band. It all has a monetary value. And those are things that we don't set. It's just the world we operate in. I can't walk down the street and necessarily, purchase a soft drink on the side of the, at a random restaurant or for nothing. I can't just walk out with it. They won't let me. But in the music world, it's a different sort of mentality. So it's evolving. I find it to be interesting that within independent music, you spend a lot of energy trying to show people the value in the art and the music rather than it already being cherished as something that has art that has a value. Like if I spend 6 months on a record or working on a variety of pieces of art, I then have to justify to people that it is something of value. But if somebody built a car, that car has value. Someone would just buy it. So it's different. It's an interesting place. You almost have to become a little bit of a self-marketer, and I've never been comfortable with that. But it's something that you sort of have to do. So I have to promote Death Wish, and I have to promote, these things that we're involved with, or they just kind of will get lost. I think that the internet as a tool, though, is a wonderful thing. It's made a lot of people artists who would never have been artists before. It's made people musicians that never would have dreamed of being a musician because they can sit in their house and make a record where they couldn't 10 years ago. And I think that's a beautiful thing. It also makes some records that probably shouldn't have been made. There's definitely a lot of material out there. There's a lot of music out there, probably too much at this point to take in because you literally just don't have all the time in the world or the energy or the attention span to do it. So it's made it harder to find artists that are interesting. But it's a good tool. I'm a fan of it. I always find it to be strange when I meet other people who run record labels or who are anti-sharing or they're anti-whatever. As long as the bills are getting paid and records are selling enough to be able to pay for the artist, pay for the promotion, and pay for all the things that are involved, then I think it's fine. I don't think that punk rock should ever be a place where it's making people that are millionaires. It's not made for it. There's plenty of amazing music out there, and there's plenty of terrible music to some people. To me, it's all valid. But if something appeals to me, to my musical taste, or something that I see some sort of artistic strength in, then I want to promote it. I want to approach it. I want to present it to people in some way. And I don't know. I'm just happy that people take the record label and what we've done and what we've chosen to promote as being the strongest of the subgenres.
so fucking much, Paris. We're Converge.